Okay, welcome back to another week in Tehillim. And we are holding over here in Tzadi Daled, number 94. And we're in the midst of this Tehillim. I'd like to learn some very powerful, powerful psukim today that should hopefully give us some CHIZUK in our lives, be'ez Hashem. Also, I just want to say that next week and the week after that, I hope that I'm not going to be. I hope to be in Eretz Yisrael. Be'ez Hashem, everything still flies as planned, so there won't be class for the next 2 weeks. After that, Eretz Hashem. The pasuk says like this. We're holding over here in, it's like Zion, Ches, and Tes. It's 7, pretty much 7, 8, and 9 are going together over here. And it says, Vayayimru lo yirei v'lo yavin elokei Yaakov. The Rishoyim, the wicked people, think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to see them, and the God of Yaakov is not going to notice them. Binu ba'arim ba'am uksila masai taskilu. Consider, you unreasonable ones, that you, and conceited ones, that, and really foolish ones, ksilim is the foolish ones over here, when are you going to put your intelligence to use? Hanoita oizen hala yishma im yoitza ayin alo yabit. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who makes ears, so He knows how to make a person hear. And Hashem is the one who's given us eyes, so He knows how to make a person see. Do you actually think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you ears and eyes so you could hear and you could see, but He Himself doesn't know how to hear and see? Says the Dovid HaMelech in Tehillim over here, he's speaking about the Rishoyim, about the wicked, which means that they think that they can more or less get away with anything that they want, and no one's paying attention, and no one's watching, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not keeping track, and says to him, are you kidding yourself? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes eyes, and Hashem makes ears, that means He's given every person in the world the ability to see and to hear. You think that Hashem can't see and hear Himself? You think that He doesn't have total awareness? You could only see what's in front of you, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is infinite. It means He can see everything, all of the time. Those are the words, those are the psukim that we're going to examine today, and right now. But I want to see over here the commentary of Gamliel Rabinovich on these words. And he says like this, Yesh levayer, you can explain these words, because the Radak says, V'yoymer lo yiraka v'lo yavin elokei Yaakov. Is it possible that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to see what is going on? Harashayim svarim b'daitim. The wicked people think in their mistaken understanding. Ki HaKadosh Baruch Hu eino roya. Hashem does not see. Ve'eino mevin. He doesn't understand, but ma'aseh are bad things. He doesn't acknowledge. He doesn't see. He's not aware. He doesn't know what we're doing. Va'aleim al-pasuk, man. That's why the pasuk is saying, Binu ba'orim ba'am uksilim masai taskilu. How long, foolish ones, are you going to go on? Atem hashaitim sheba'am. You are the most foolish of all the people in the nation. Tanu lechem levi zbanim. Just think for a moment. Think about what is going on over here. Ksilim masai taskilu v'teidu davar. How long are you going to be foolish and not acknowledge what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does? How long will it take you to know this and understand? The Hashem is the one that makes the ears to be able to hear. If He's the one who makes the eyes, He doesn't see. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, who is the one that created in man the power of seeing and the power of hearing. Do you actually think that Hashem cannot see and He cannot hear? This is foolishness for a person to say such a thing. In the opening of the Shulchan Aruch, he writes over there that Tzadikim, they live with the concept of Shavisi Hashem Lenegdi Samid. Hashem is in front of me all of the time. That's how a tzaddik lives. I think to myself, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is everywhere. He's watching, He's seeing, He's aware of everything that I'm doing. And the Shulchan Aruch says over there, does a person think that when they are in their house by themselves, and the door is closed to the world, and nobody knows what I'm doing, do you actually think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not inside of your house with you, and sees and He hears everything that a person does? Or a person is on the telephone, it's just you and your friend. Do you think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't hear the words that we are saying? All the Lashon Hara, everything that goes on, the putting people down and the like, do you think that Hashem doesn't hear? And therefore over there the Shulchan Aruch is talking about how tznius a person has to be in the privacy of their own home. How they get dressed, how they get undressed, how they carry themselves. Do you think that Hashem doesn't see? Hashem sees everything. Says Rav Gamliel over here, based on the words of the Radak and the words of Tehillim, is a person such a fool? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that masterminded the human being. And the animals as well, they have ears, they can hear. And they have eyes, they can see. And we can also hear what people say, and we can see what people are doing. Do you think that Hashem doesn't have the same abilities? If not a billion, trillion, infinite times more? And therefore, it's nothing less, says the pasuk over here, than being exiled in foolishness. You'll remember thousands of years ago when we learned Mishlei together. The Shlomo Melech wrote again and again and again. I think what I took away from all those years of learning was, the main point of Shlomo Melech was, don't be a fool. Just go through life and don't be a fool. He had many different words, ksil, pesi, shait, all different things that he called fools. There's so many ways you could be a fool. Don't be a fool. Over here he's saying, if you think that you're living a life where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not watching, you're a fool. If you think that you're living a life where HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't hear what you have to say, you're being a fool. And the only way that we're going to hold ourselves in check is if we're living with the constant awareness that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is listening, and therefore anything that I say, anything that I do, can and will be used against me in the court of law up there, and therefore I then guard myself and watch myself, because I know that the Rebbeinu Shalom himself is well aware of everything going on. From these verses, we learn a tremendous foundation in Jewish thought. Adam shein b'emunah, someone who doesn't have emunah, he's saying this is all based on our emunah. If you believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the ayin roya, He's the eye that sees. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the oiz hashamas, the ear that hears. If you have that emunah, then you'll live properly. Because you'll understand, whatever I do, Hashem is watching. Whatever I do, Hashem is listening. I have to be careful, I have to be on guard, I have to watch myself. I don't want to get caught doing the wrong thing. But if you don't have this emunah, Eino Raka, because not only are you an apikoris, are you heretical in this idea. It's strong words, but it's just pointing out. If you live life in a weakened state of emunah, where you don't actually believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching and listening to the things that you do, it's not because that's heresy. Because we know that that's one of the foundations of our emun, is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is omniscient, He's omnipresent, He's all powerful, He's all knowing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere all of the time. He fills up every nook and cranny in this world. You can't go anywhere in the world where HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not. Like they came once, I think, to the Kutzker when he was a young boy, and they asked him, tell me, young boy, where is the Rebbeinu Shalom in this world? And he said, you tell me where He's not in this world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everywhere. He's everywhere. That's a basic tenet of our faith. And every Jew is supposed to believe that. You see, if you just learn the Chumash alone, you will see that over and over and over again. Hashem is watching. Hashem is aware. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is reacting to our actions and the things that we do down here, when we do right, when we do wrong. Everything is a give and take between us and the Ribbono Shel Olam. Says of Gamliel, not only are you an apikoros, are you verging, or are you teetering on heresy if you don't believe in this? Elahu af shaitu ksil. On top of that, to make things worse, you're the biggest fool in the world. Because you're living your life thinking that you can get away with bloody murder, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to do a thing. And he says over here, I'll tell you a story. A merchant, a store owner once told me, someone who's busy with business, and he doesn't have real emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's a totally foolish person. If a person had das, they had understanding. They would see, they would begin to realize, it's not me that came up with all of these ideas in business. It's not my ideas that were able to make this deal go through. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that's giving me the das. He's giving me the knowledge and the understanding to be able to do this deal and call this person and let this thing go through and make that sale. It's all up to Hashem. Like it says in Dvarim, you must remember Hashem, that He is the one that is giving you the power to do all of this chayil, to make all of this business for yourself. And Targum Unklis writes over there famously, V'tidakir yas Hashem elokecha, remember Hashem your God. He's the one that's giving you the eitzah, the insight and the advice and the awareness to be able to purchase and buy those nechasim, those properties and those possessions for yourself. It's you, it's the Ribbono Shel Olam. You go and ask anyone who's out there in the world in real estate and the like, as much as they will tell you, yeah, I watched this piece of land for such an excellent, and they will all tell you, the fact that I even looked at that piece of land, the fact that I even made the phone call, the fact that I even sat on it for years and years and years waiting for the right time, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nothing short of Hashem. And that's what this merchant told her of Gamliel. Anyone who doesn't believe in that, they're the biggest fool in the world. Because the more that you invite the Ribbono Shel Olam into your business, the more you invite him into your life, the more you understand these things, so the more that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to be there. We see this in reality. And he says, I'll bring you an example. We see people all the time. They get involved in a business deal that according to the nature of the world, there's no way that this thing should succeed. Sometimes you see, this guy's such a fool. Why is he even doing this? Nevertheless, that business deal that they got involved with, which looked ridiculous, brought them enormous amounts of profit. And sometimes they get involved in some kind of business operation over that looks like it should be a home run, smash hit over here. They're going to be rolling in the dough. They put all their energies into it. It caused them enormous amounts of financial loss. How do you explain that? How does the person who looked like they had no chance become a millionaire? And the person who looks like they had all the chance in the world loses all their money? How does that work? It's under Hashem's providence. Someone who doesn't believe in Hashem's divine providence is watching over every little detail. He doesn't feel that Hashem is watching and listening and guiding every little thing of their life. He is a completely foolish person. Strong words by Rabbi Rabinovich, but he is known, as we've seen, to be strong because he wants to drive home the point. And that is, don't be a fool. Shlomo Melech said it 1,000 times in Mishlei. Don't be a fool. How do you not be a fool? Know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is watching, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is listening, and He's mashkiach, He's guiding everything under His providence. And the more that you believe in that, and you know that, and you feel that, and you see that, the more you are going to have HaKadosh Baruch Hu involved in your life. The less that you believe in that, the less that you think about that, the less that you have an awareness of that, the more distant HaKadosh Baruch Hu is from someone's life. And I think I tell over this story often when we speak about these ideas. I remember when I was a teenager years ago, so orange nail polish became the craze of the world. The ugliest nail polish, nobody has orange nail polish, right? The ugliest nail polish in the world, orange nail polish, like Halloween nails. And it became the craze. Every girl in high school and every girl in college and every girl everywhere and wearing orange nail polish. Why? Because there were two silly girls that were having a sleepover one night, and they started playing with their different color nail polishes. And they started mixing things together, and they made orange nail polish. And they painted their nails with orange. They were like in high school. They made orange nail polish. And they went to school the next day, and all the girls said, "Whoa, that's so cool, orange nail polish." And they gave it to them. And the next thing you know, every girl in that school is painting their nails orange nail polish. It became such a thing. These two teenage girls, no business background, no Wharton School of Business, no degrees, nothing about anything. They became millionaires overnight because, I don't know, Revlon, whatever it was, took it and they ran with it, and it became the most popular color for that period of time, and they became millionaires. Can you explain that? Then you have the guy who goes to Harvard Business School. He graduates from Yale with straight A's, and the guy can't even get a job today. You know that a vast majority of college graduates today cannot get a job. And they are skilled, and they are intellectual, and they are prepared for the big world and the real world, and they can't even get a job. Two silly girls in high school become millionaires overnight, and a guy that's now $450,000 in debt from his college tuition that he thought when he gets out of school he's going to make so much money, he's going to pay it off, guy can't get a job. How do you explain? Says Rav Gamliel, don't be a fool. Hashem is running everything. You want a job? Daven to Hashem. You want to make more money? Daven to Hashem. You need some insight into your business? Daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Open up my head, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I know that you see. I know that you hear. I know that you're mashkiach. I know that you're guiding me. So guide me, please, in the right direction. Okay, now, I'm going to skip to the following. I'm skipping to the following pasuk over here. It's verse 12. Yud Beis, Ashrei hagever asher teasreinu ka. Fortunate is the gever, is the man. The gever is the strong, the gibor, the strong man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts. Umitoirascha selamdenu, and his Torah he is going to teach him. Wow, it's so good to be a strong person. Fortunate is the man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts. Umitoirascha selamdenu, and you will teach him through your Torah to endure all of this discipline, all of this suffering that you're going to go through. This is one of the most, I guess we'll call it, perplexing verses that we face in the world of Tehillim, because it's telling us, you know what? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is afflicting you, and Hashem is sending you suffering, and He's sending you challenges, that's a good sign. Must mean that you're a gibor, must mean that you're strong. Because apparently HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not coming to weaklings. He's not coming to just anybody and testing them. Only if you're a gever, you're a gibor. If you're a strong person, then Hashem is going to afflict you. And that is Ashrei. We say every morning, Ashrei Yoshev Eisecha. Fortunate are the ones who sit in the house of the Lord. The same word, Ashrei. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is afflicting you, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving you nisyonos, challenges in life, that's a good sign, says Dovid HaMelech. Says Rav Hirsch on this idea over here, and that is, you should know that discipline, the suffering that people go through in this world, it is helping to strengthen the moral fiber of an individual. The wrong which a man must endure, again, the wrong, that being the suffrage, and the Rishoyim in this world, and the things that people do to us, and so on and so forth, that is all a course, it's part of the training course of suffering that will refine him through his discipline, a discipline to which Hashem subjects only those of his children who are capable of improvement. Hashem is not going to discipline everyone. Hashem is not going to send such specially made nisyonos to everyone. It's only to the people in his kingdom, Klal Yisrael, his children, that he knows are going to improve as a result of such a thing. But the man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu no longer deems worthy of experiencing the suffering, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has ceased already to try to make them into a better person. If life is good, and everything is automatic pilot, and you're like this is why retirement is such a terrible thing. Retirement makes you think that life's a vacation. Everywhere that you go, just vacation. I'm traveling around the world on vacation all of the time. I'm flying here. I have no responsibility. I don't have to wake up in the morning, go to work. No this, no boss, no nothing. Everything's just easy going. If your life in the world of nisyonos, of challenges, if you are in retirement, says Rav Hirsch, that means HaKadosh Baruch Hu basically gave up on you. That it's not going to help. There's nothing that's going to improve you. Because I only want to give the nisyonos, the challenges in life, and the discipline, as he calls it over here, to those that are going to get the message that I'm trying to teach them, and they're going to improve themselves as a result. We said in the drasha yesterday on Shabbos that Kalev and Yoshua tell the Jewish people, don't fear. The giants that are living in Eretz Yisrael and all the challenges that are going to come upon us when we go into the land to conquer it, it's not something that is daunting and overwhelming. It is lachemeinuhem. It is our very bread and sustenance of life. It's what's going to make us who we are. It's what's going to strengthen us in our emunah, in our bitachon, in our connection to the Rebbeinu. It's going to pull out all of the potential that's inside of us to be greater than we are right now. Says Rav Hirsch, the same idea. You think that going through challenges is a bad thing? That means that Hashem has hope for you. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks at you and he sees you will know how to respond to the challenge. You will raise to the challenge that I'm sending your way, and you will be able to overcome, and you will initiate inner growth inside of you that other people are not going to do. So I just gave up on them. But you I didn't give up on. And then he says like this, in order to be worthy of being accepted into the divine training course, a man must fulfill two basic requirements. Number one, he has to be a gever. And that's what we're saying. A gever is the language of gibor, strong. Hashem doesn't want weaklings in this world, because if you are a spiritual weakling, you will get crushed by the suffering. Hashem can't give you suffering then. He can't give you challenges. He's, like in the world that we live in today of children, raising children, everybody's like with the gloves on all day long. Oh, we have to be careful over here. They might cry. They might not get what they want, right? But I think you mentioned that everybody has to get A's now. Everybody has to get A's, A+, A++++. You're great. You didn't pay attention one day in class. You failed every single exam. You're a chutzpanyak. You don't pay attention, and you talk to me with chutzpah. But you know what? Got to make you happy, so we'll give you an A. Says Rav Hirsch, it doesn't work like that in Hashem's world. Now, again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that we're more of a fragile generation than maybe 100 years ago. He knows that we're much more emotional maybe than we were 100 years ago, 50 years ago. He knows that we don't maybe have the resilience and the tolerance that they had 100 years ago when they were in Europe over there, somewhere in Baghdad, and it was hard, difficult times. He knows all of that. But at the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is looking for Giborim, he's looking for strong people that can endure the test of time. And someone whose moral energies have been completely dissipated by excess and the like, such a person also, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not really going to test. Because they won't know what to do with the challenge that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending their way. He has to, on the other hand, he has to bear within himself a reserve of moral energy and fortitude, which is to be activated by the suffering which he must undergo, and will enable him to handle the reins of self-control so that he may guide himself along the path of what is good and right. Every time that a person gets pushed by the Ribbono Shel Olam, every time you feel that prodding of Hashem with a nisayon, a challenge, a test, some suffering that Hashem is placing your way, all of that is only for one reason and one reason only. It's all for the purpose that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you are the Gibor, you are the strong one. You are the morally intact individual, and when I send this your way, it's only going to make you greater and stronger. And that's why I'm giving it to you, because I desire your greatness. I desire that the potential that's inside of you that is just lying there dormant for 1,000 years already, I want it to come to fruition. But you're not doing it on your own, so I'm going to press down, and I'm going to squeeze you, and I'm going to crush you a little bit, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not to the point of no return, just enough to bring the goodness out of you. And if I didn't believe in you so much, says Hashem, I would look at you as a lost cause and I wouldn't even bother you. But the mere fact that I'm starting up with you is only because I truly believe in your potential and what you could accomplish and how you're going to respond. I just saw a maisa of a summer camp in New York, in one of the camps in the Catskills, where the camp director was asked by one of the other counselors. It was a very, very hot day in the Catskills, and they said, we need some ice pops for our campers. No problem. Let me go to the big freezer and let me get it. So he goes to the big freezer, and now these freezers are gigantic walk-in freezers, and he put a crate in the doorway so that the door should not close, because if it closes, it's pretty dangerous. And he puts the crate in the doorway, and he's going to get the ice pops, and as he's grabbing the ice pops, he hears a thud. And he realizes that the door was so heavy, it pushed the crate out, and it closed and locked automatically. He goes to the door, and he starts pushing on it. It's not moving. It's an old walk-in freezer, which doesn't have like a release emergency button on the inside, and the handle doesn't move, and the door is locked shut. Now this man is chaverim, which means he's like the guy that goes around and fixes flat tires, and he can jimmy the window if somebody gets stuck in the car, and other things. So he has a tool belt, and he starts taking out his tools, and he's trying to pick the lock and open the handle. Nothing. He begins screaming, nothing. It's an hour now that he's in this freezer, and he's in bad shape. His breathing is getting pretty difficult, and he hears voices outside the door. There's all the kids are in the kitchen. He's screaming, pounding on the door, help me, help me. They can't hear anything. And he realizes he's in bad shape. If he doesn't get out of there soon, his hands are getting numb, the breathing is becoming very labored and heavy, he doesn't know what he's going to do. He tried everything. He pushed the door, doesn't work. He got his tools, doesn't work. He screamed and yelled, nothing worked. He said, Ribbono Shel Olam, I tried everything that I could do in my power. I have nothing left. I'm begging you, please get me out of this fridge. Please. It's in your hands. He davens and davens and davens. And he walks over to the door. And he pushes the handle that before was locked. And the door pops open. And he walks out. And his life is saved. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't do that to everybody. I'm not going to lock everybody in that freezer, because not everybody in that camp could handle being locked in that freezer. They would freeze to death, and that would be the end. But you, dear camp council, dear camp director, who you are a gibor, you are strong and powerful, I'll throw you into there, the door is going to lock behind you, and you're going to have to get to a point where you realize the only one that's going to save you is the Rebbeinu Shalom. And when you get to that point, then I'm going to open the door, just like that, and you'll walk out and go back to life. Says Rav Hirsch, I don't test everybody. I don't test the weaklings of this world, the people that I can't bank on. I wouldn't put my money on them in a race. But if I'm testing you, that means you are the MVP of Klal Yisrael. That means I believe in you to fight this battle in this war that I'm putting you through, and you're going to overcome. And therefore, it's only going to make you better, and it's only going to make you stronger. And then the verse says, "U'mitoirascha salamdenu," and the Torah you will learn. What does that mean? That means the following idea: that all of the suffering that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings down to this world, that brings down on a person, if a person will delve deeper into the Torah, and they will delve deeper into the laws, and they will delve deeper into the hashkafa, what it means to be a Jew, that we learn out from the Torah, to derive from it the standard of what a life filled with duty and loyalty to Hashem should really be, then they will learn from the Torah what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants my reaction to be right now. A nisayon, a challenge in life, is not supposed to make me weaker in my Yiddishkeit. It's supposed to make me stronger in my Yiddishkeit. When Hashem is challenging me, it doesn't push me away from the Torah. It's supposed to bring me closer to the Torah. Because I then realize at that moment, nothing else in the world is going to help me get through this challenge in my life. It's only the Torah. Maybe I didn't understand it clear enough. Maybe I'm not as connected as I could possibly be to Hashem and His will and His world. So now that I'm going through this nisayon, where am I going to turn for my answer? I'm going to turn to the Torah itself. Because in the Torah, hafachba, every kulaba, everything is in there. It's just that perhaps I'm a little bit disconnected today, or this month, or this year, or this decade, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu now is putting me through a challenge, and through the challenge, I'm going to realign and recalibrate myself and connect deeper to the words of the Torah, because in the Torah lies all of the answers. I won't find it on YouTube shorts, and I'm not going to find it in TikTok, that's for sure. In the Torah HaKadosha is where all of my answers in life are going to be. And when Hashem is afflicting a person, when Hashem is challenging a person, He's telling them, come home and get deeper into the Torah, and then you will be able to achieve what the gibor, the strong person like you, can do. And he quotes over here a Gemara that says like this: Im raya adam she'yisrael ba'an alav. If a person sees that suffering is coming upon them, yefashvesh b'maisav, examine your deeds. We know that everything is midah keneged midah. It's measure for measure. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is afflicting me, it must be I did something wrong. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rewarding me, I must have done something right. If I'm struggling in a certain area, I must examine my deeds and see what have I done to bring this upon myself. Pish pesh v'lei matzah. Let's say that a person examines, and again, you did a real, sincere, honest evaluation of all of your deeds. V'loi matzah. And you can't find anything wrong. You're such a tzaddikus, such a righteous woman, you realize, you know what? I can't explain it. I've done nothing wrong. I daven every tefillah b'kavana. I say all my brachas on everything. I never speak lashon hara. My midos are impeccable, perfect. I have such yirah shamayim. I have such emunah. I love Shabbos. I do everything. So I can't find anything wrong. So if you get to that place, you're so perfect. I mean, imagine what we're talking about over here. We're talking about almost an impossible situation, but if you would get to such a place, and you would say, you know what, I'm such a tzaddikus, I can't find anything. So what does the Gemara say? V'loi matzah, you found nothing wrong. Yitla bebittul Torah, you could guarantee that the reason that you're getting this suffering in life is because the bittul, the nullification of Torah, learning Torah, and let's call it for our sake, the keeping of the Torah itself. Shenema, like it says, Ashrei hageva shetasvenu ka, fortunate is the man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts, our verse, u'mitoirascha, so then that's going to get me to start learning the Torah again. If I examine my deeds and my actions and I see I'm such a tzaddik, I did nothing wrong, so then why is Hashem punishing me? Must be that I didn't learn enough Torah today. So this, in Rav Rudim in Ner Yisrael, he asked the question, well, wait a second, you examined all of your deeds and you said you found nothing wrong. That means that you must have examined your learning and your avera, your sin of bittul Torah, of nullifying and not learning, and you decided you didn't do anything wrong. So it says the Gemara, if you examined all of your deeds and you couldn't find anything wrong, well, it must be bittul Torah. You didn't learn. You must have not learned Torah. What do you mean? You just examined all of your deeds. And if you're being really honest and you're being really sincere, you would have realized that you were battle Torah. You didn't learn Torah. So what's going on over here? So Reuben said, no, because when it comes to bittul Torah, when it comes to not learning enough, we all have 1,000 excuses why we didn't learn that day. Why I didn't go to that shir. Why I didn't spend 5 extra minutes to just review that halacha after I finish it to make sure that I knew it. We all have such a skill. I got to run. I got to go. I'm here. I'm there. I don't have time. So says the Gemara, you know what? If you examined all your deeds and you saw what you did, that you think you did nothing wrong, trust me, says the Gemara, you made too many excuses for yourself why it is that it's okay that you weren't learning, why it's okay that you weren't keeping everything in the right way. Now you have to go back and strengthen yourself in the Torah HaKadosha, in the Torah itself. And therefore he says, let's take a look at whatever troubles are going to overcome us. It should admonish us to examine the life that we led up until this point and see, could we have done better than we actually have done? Many of us think, well, I'm doing the best I can. Doing the best I can. Really? Are we really doing the best that we can? In business, they always have these meetings. Even a business that's like off the charts. Elon Musk, the guy just became a trillionaire. Now, I think when he was holding by like $90 billion, he said, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing the best I can. He didn't say I'm doing the best I can. He said I can always do more. So let's go to the trillions. So now he's a trillionaire, now he probably wants to become a double trillionaire, whatever that's going to mean. In business, it's never enough. If you go to the restaurant, you go to the best restaurant, you order everything you want on the menu, it's still, you want another restaurant. In Yiddishkeit, suddenly it's enough. Did enough. Doing the best I can. Are you really doing the best you can? If the Ribono Shel Olam is testing us, if the Ribono Shel Olam is challenging us, if He's sending this Yonis our way, it's all to remind us we could do better. Because now we have to work harder, and we have to dig in deeper, and we have to strengthen our moon even more and stronger to be able to overcome that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu has put in our pathway. And therefore, says Rav Hirsch, take time and reflect and ask yourself, up until right now, here's the Nisayon in front of me, up until right now, have I done enough? Have I tried hard enough? Am I living a life of Torah and of mitzvahs and of midos and yirah shamayim and amunah and bitachon, all the amazing things, what it means to be a Jew? Have I done all of that enough up until this point? And the answer, of course, is going to be no. I could always do better. And that's why Hashem is challenging me, because I'm not a weakling. I'm not a lost cause. He has hope in me. He believes in me. He says I could do more, I could be better. So it's a great compliment. As Rav Hirsch writes elsewhere, the more challenging the nisayon that Hashem sends to a person in their life is, the bigger compliment it is to the person. Because that means Hashem holds you a real Kippur. You're really strong. You have big, bulging spiritual muscles that other people in this world don't have. And that's why He sent it to you and not to your sister, not to your neighbor, not to the lady you sit next to in shul. He sent it to you because you are the one that can flex the muscles of Amun over here and overcome such a thing. And he explains in a long explanation over here, we don't have time to go through everything, but that this concept and this idea, through the Torah, everybody knows and they can see what their mission in life is and why we came to this world and what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants from us. And therefore, whenever we are getting pressured and whenever we're going through these challenging times, there is only one place to turn to. That is the guidebook of life. That is the Torah, because it will teach us, it will reveal to us, it will enlighten us how to handle the situations that we find ourselves in. Why do we go to our Rabbanim to ask them for advice, to know how to deal with something? Because they are what's called Das Torah. Their mind thinks like Torah. And therefore they see things, they understand things, they can guide us in ways that are not what we can do ourselves. Because their mind is bigger in the world of Torah. They're in the learning, they're absorbed in the Torah. So they say things and they see things not the way that we see things, in our very limited vision of this world. And when we are in that moment of challenge, when we're in that situation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has put us into, don't despair and don't panic and don't throw in the towel. On the other hand, Hashem's doing it because He knows that you are the one that can realign with the Torah in a very deep and meaningful and powerful way, and that's how you continue to go on the mission in life that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting us through. Now Rav Gamliel writes on this pasuk the following: fortunate is the man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts. And listen to the way that he says, Ma'usha is like happy, is the man sha'HaKadosh Baruch Hu meyaser oisa b'yisurim, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts with afflictions and suffering. Happy is the man. I didn't meet many people that are smiling when they are going through suffering. But that's because we don't look at it in the right way. V'yesh b'kach limud musar haskel. There's a tremendous lesson over here. It is known naturally, when we see somebody going through really suffering, hard times, pain and the like, oh, I feel so bad for them. What can I do for you? I feel so bad. You're suffering so much. It must be so hard. It must be so painful. It must be so difficult. That's the nature of this world. But David HaMelech is teaching us, a person that Yisurim, that suffering comes upon, who Adam Ushar, he is the real happy and fortunate person in this world. What does that mean? Since that suffering comes to cleanse a person from all of their sins, but it's with one condition. Learn HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah. When you suffer, it's not supposed to take you away from Torah mitzvahs. Like it says in the Gemara, Elohim Yisurim Shel Ava, Kol She'em Ben B'Torah, like we said before from the Gemara in Brachos. Says Rav Gamliel, you see somebody suffering, you feel bad for them, he's luckier than you. Because he's beloved by the Rebbeinu Shalom, because Hashem only tests the people that he loves. And if you see that that person is responding in the right way, they're getting stronger in their davening. They're stronger in their adherence to the mitzvahs. They're stronger in working on their midos. You see them running around doing more chasadim for more people. You say, well, I'm jealous of such a person. How Kodesh Baruch Hu loves them so much? I must be a weakling. That's why Kodesh Baruch Hu is not testing me in the same way. Now, of course, Hashem, we don't ask for any suffering. And we don't ask for any challenges. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what every person can handle, what every person needs to bring their greatness out into this world. Hashem knows that. You don't have to tell Hashem what to do. He'll decide. But when you see someone who's going through it, even though the nature of the world is to feel, oh, I feel so bad for them. Wow, you saw what they're going through. Must be so hard. You sit with your husband at night. Can you believe what's happening? It's so hard for them. Wow, I just can't believe. Hashem says, why do you feel so bad? Do you know why I'm doing that to them? They're happier and better off than you. You're in retirement. You're sitting on the beaches of Tahiti and the white sand is running through your toes with your margarita on the side over there. That's easy life. The one that is going through the challenges, they're working on themselves. They're strengthening themselves. They're growing every single day. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger and closer to me, says Hashem. You should feel bad for yourself that you're having such a cushy, easy life. And you should look at the people that say, wow, that must be a Kibra Chayil. They must be like Mr. and Mrs. Universe. Wow, they have so many muscles. It's incredible what they're able to endure. Says Rav Gamliel, the nature is to feel bad for people. But the reality is, they're in good standing with the Rebbeinu Shalom. And he goes on and he writes the following idea. Fortunate is the man that a Kodesh Baruch Hu call Yud and Hey is afflicting. And happy and fortunate is the man that HaKadosh Baruch Hu afflicts with the name Yud and a Hey. Why? Because that is always the name of Rachamim, of mercy. Kevan sheYisurim Elohim Rachamim Gemurim. Just a whole different way to look at Yisurim. If a person is being afflicted in their life, if a person is being challenged by the Rebbeinu Shalom, if a person is going through things that look to the outside world, woo, how could such a thing, this person go through such a thing? The person themselves should know, wow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He loves me so much. Everything He does is rachamim, is mercy. Everything He does is kindness. Hashem sees my greatness and my strength that is inside of me, and that's why He's just going to bring more of that to this world. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. I could not be more appreciative for all of the suffering that you put me through. And that's all rachamim. It's Hashem's mercy. And when a person sees and they feel and they believe that all the suffering they're going through is merciful, then you will uphold the next part of this verse. Your Torah I will learn. I will not be mevatel, nullify myself, and move myself away from your Torah. On the other hand, because I'm grateful for your mercy, I am grateful for your opportunity to get closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I know that the source of all of that is Torah. I will cling to your Torah even more. So this is one of the fail-proof ways for a person to recognize their success in going through the challenges of life. Are you getting angry with HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Are you getting frustrated with Hashem? Are you getting disappointed in the situation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts us through? And then you're getting farther and farther and farther and farther away from Amunah, farther away from Bitachin, farther away from clinging to Hashem, farther away from our davening, farther away from the Torah? Or are you using the challenges that HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts us through as an opportunity to flex my spiritual muscles? Because Hashem believes in me. Many, many years ago, I was actually into weightlifting. And a group of us had a trainer. He was in Israel. He was a big Russian guy. He was huge, gigantic. And his goal was to get us to bench press as much as we possibly could. And his goal with me was, he wanted me to be able to bench press 200 pounds that summer. And we worked, and we worked, and we worked, and we worked, and finally got to that place where it was 200 pounds. And I thought once would be enough for him. No, do it again. And he made me do it, I forget, 2, 3, whatever it was. Whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu is pushing us, it's because He knows how strong we really are. And we're not using those muscles enough. Not our emunah, not our love of Hashem, not our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not our immersion in the world of Torah and of mitzvahs. And Hashem says, you could do more, and you could do better. Ashrei Adam, and that's what Gamliel is saying over here. Don't feel bad for such a person. You want to support the person, you want to be there for the person, but don't feel bad for the person. They're ma'ushar. They are happy. They are fortunate. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do it to everybody. There's spiritual weaklings in the world. He leaves them alone because He'll just crush them. Then there's a Gibor. There's strong people in the world. Who do you think in the war in Gaza they sent to the front lines? The frightened weaklings? No, they took the soldiers, the elite groups who are fearless, who are strong, who are powerful. They're ready to go fight the enemy. The other ones, leave them on the sidelines. We cannot have them at this time when we need all the strength. If Hashem's choosing you, and He's sending struggling and suffering and challenge and nisyonis to you, it's only because you are the warrior. And Hashem says, I'm going to prove to you that you are, because you're going to pass this test with flying colors. And how are you going to do that? Reunite with the Torah. And the more Torah that a person has in their life, the more vision, the more clarity, the more understanding they have, the more it's going to guide you through every single step that you take. We should be Zaychem Yetz Hashem. Again, we don't ask for nisyonos every day in our life. But if a person finds themselves with struggles in their life, know that it's a compliment from Hashem, and He believes very highly and strongly in you, and you'll use your connection to the Torah to lead you through this nisayon, to pass it with flying colors. Be'ezus Hashem.